Hey, it's Rob of Gin and Tonic. I smoked a turkey on July 25th, 2020. Merry Christmas in July. And I used the Bradley Original Smoker. And it turned out great, so I wanted to post it. Just also for my memory, too, if I want to do another one in the future, which I definitely will. This was probably one of the best turkeys that turned out. And that was due to several steps, but I'll go through all that. The Bradley Original Smoker. I had a bar cart from Lowe's just to lift that smoker up and make it easy to access, and I don't have to bend over to the ground and deal with it. Now the Bradley smoker bisquettes I used were maple. I like to use a lighter flavor with birds, just because mesquite and some other of those really strong flavored biscuits can kind of overpower it. I used a 13-pound turkey, which is 5.8 kilograms, several spices, and a remote thermometer. After barbecuing and smoking for such a long time, I found this is a must. I like to monitor the internal temperature of the smoker and also the internal temperature of whatever I'm cooking. And I think that's important because I cook by temperature, not by time, as to not dry things out. Now the turkey process. So frozen turkey was 13 pounds, and using your search engine, you can find several turkey calculators. From the turkey calculator, the minimum unthawed time in the refrigerator was 2 hours and 17 days. I rounded it to 3, and then I'm also very cautious, so I did 5. So once the turkey was unthawed, you brine your turkey for 24 to 48 hours. And on the next screen, I'll describe day by day the whole process, okay? So the brine. The brine is 3 liters of cold water plus 1 liter of warm. I used hot tap water, um, which totals 1 gallon. So now that 1 liter of hot tap water, I added my 1 cup of kosher salt to it and dissolved it totally. Then to that warm water, I added 1 tablespoon of sage, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of rosemary, and 2 tablespoons of peppercorns. Once I did that, I let it sit overnight. And then right before I added it to the turkey, I added 3 liters of cold water just so to dilute the salt and get the volume to totally submerge the turkey. Now I let the turkey sit for 48 hours, so 2 days in the refrigerator covered with the brine mixture, and then I removed it from the brine 24 hours before the cook, and I pat it dry with paper towels, and I let it dry in the refrigerator for 24 hours, and that's to make sure that the skin is dry so it browns up very nicely, and also so you get the snap of the skin and it's not rubbery. Here's my day by day process. So basically, figure out when you want to cook and then work your way backwards. I did like a long unthaw day. I think I probably did an unthaw time for a 20-pound turkey, 25-pound turkey, but I wanted to make sure, so that's what I did. So day one, I bought a frozen turkey and begin unthawed it in the refrigerator. Day two, still unthawing. 3, 4, and 5, it was unthawing in the refrigerator. Day six, I cut it from the packaging. We used a butterball turkey, which was great. But you know how it comes in like that shrink wrap package? I left it in that until day 6 when it was unthawed. And it was totally unthawed, which was my goal. So I reached my goal, so it was perfect. So I removed the neck and the bag of giblets and then added the brine to a large bowl in my case, and then I submerged my turkey. Because my turkey was only 13 pounds, I was able to submerge it in my bowl. A lot of people use for the larger turkeys a 5-gallon food safe pail. You just have to prepare for that room in your fridge. It'll also work in a kegerator or beer fridge, small beer fridge or whatever like that. But then when are you going to put your beer? So Next, so day 6, the turkey was in there and it was submerged in my brine solution. And day 7, it was submerged in my brine solution because I wanted to have a go for 48 hours. Day 8, I dumped the brine, and remember, I left a 24-hour period so I could dry my turkey. Now, I patted the turkey dry with paper towels and got whatever I could um, of the brine solution out of the turkey, and then I let it sit uncovered in the refrigerator to dry the skin, like I said, for 24 hours. Day 9, I'm ready to go. I added my rub and then I started smoking. Now I'll let you know a bit about my rub or seasoning mix that I used. You can use whatever you want, but this is what I basically use. This is my seasoning mix. This is my base for everything. I either add to this based on what I'm cooking. So if I'm cooking Southwest, I added some cumin. I use cumin, chili powder, and cayenne pepper. But if I'm just doing basic and whatever, this is what I go to. So I use 1 tablespoon of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, and 1 tablespoon of coarse salt, and 1 teaspoon of paprika. So if you don't like paprika, take it out, do whatever you need to do. But I make big batches of this because it, like I said, I use this in everything and on everything. Whether I'm cooking eggs in the morning or rubbing this on a turkey, this is what I use. So um, it's a good base. And you just add to it. Like I use this for ribs and I add, like I said, some cumin and stuff like that, but I also add brown sugar. So, but this is the base. So if you make the base, you already got your setup. So now we're going to go through what happened on my cook day. So it was about a 4.5 hour cook plus a 1 hour preheat. So hour 1, I preheat my smoker. I turn the dial to the last hash mark on the cooker, which I think is about 300 degrees. I think it's definitely in the high 200s, so that's where it's at. Um, no bisquettes at this point in time because you don't. There's no need to smoke because there's nothing in there. But I'm just trying to preheat it to get it ready for the turkey. And at this time, I use this time to pull the turkey out of the fridge, let it warm up a little bit for that hour, but I'm also putting my spice mix on the skin of the turkey, my rub, or whatever rub you want. So hour 1, I start cooking. The smoker temp is about 275 degrees. Hour 2, there's nothing really that's happening. The cook continues. Hour 3, now the smoker temp's at 268 and the turkey temp is at 155. Now this is a good thing. You can see the smoker temperature drop, but that's because the turkey is absorbing the heat, trying to heat up and equalize between the internal temperature of the smoker and the heating element. So that's why the smoker temperature drops when you put something in it. Now the turkey temperature was 155, so I know I'm close. I'm probably within an hour or so at this time. So I go, well, I'm going to have my favorite cornbread, and I'll talk to you about that in next slide. To the top of the smoker, I figure why heat the house when I can cook it in the smoker. Plus, it gives it a little smoky type flavor. Hour 4, the smoker's at 279, so it keeps climbing, so I know everything's working. The turkey's at 161 degrees, and I know I'm within half an hour or so of that turkey being done. So, and at this time, the cornbread's done, cooked for an hour, cooked for longer than what the package says, but that's because you're at a lower temperature inside a smoker. So I remove the cornbread, get that ready, mix up some honey butter for it, and we're good to go. So now I keep a close eye on this, and at 4.5 hours, the turkey was done. I pulled it out at 165 degrees Fahrenheit, which is perfect. All right, so what happened here, I put the turkey inside the house and I let it rest for about half an hour just to allow the juices to redistribute, and then I carved it up. This is my cornbread. I use Bob's Red Mill uh, gluten-free cornbread mix, um, and it's great. It turns out perfect every time. Uh, I use two of those meatloaf styrofoam, or not styrofoam, but aluminum foil containers, the meatloaf containers. I make half the bag and I put half in each, just so it's a little shallower. It's easy for me to cut, and you get the buttery goodness throughout it. So that's the one I use. You can get it on Amazon. So now here's my turkey. Quite frankly, I've barbecued turkey. I've deep fried turkey. I've done turkeys in the oven. I've done turkeys on charcoal grill, gas grill. This by far was the most beautiful because it was a golden brown all over. And as you can see in that picture, even the tips of the wings, you know how the tips of the wings, they always get burnt. Not burnt, but you have to put those aluminum foil hats on them so the tips don't burn. Nothing like that. This was pure golden brown every time. It was a showstopper. So it was very good. And even better than the looks was the flavor. That brining solution went through the whole turkey, and it was great. It was something. Um, the smoky flavor was there, but it wasn't the prominent flavor, which is what we were going for. So you could taste the smoke, but it was in the background, the back notes. What you tasted was the turkey and then also the spices from the brine. I didn't put anything in the cavity, but probably next time I might put some apples or something like that. I don't know. It just turned out perfect, so I don't know if I would change a thing. The only change I might do is decrease the amount of salt in the brine, but I don't know. I didn't find it too salty. I like salt, so I don't know. It'd be a hard thing to gauge, but try it out yourself and try different variations of everything if you want. But at least you have a basis of what I did for my turkey. But like I said, the color was the best color I ever got on a turkey, and it was so uniform everywhere. And the juiciness of the turkey was great. So that half hour, 45-minute rest of the turkey after it's cooked was very important to allow the juices to redistribute. So keep that in mind for your time frame. So how, say you buy a 20-pound turkey, how do you calculate it based on my estimate? Well, it's just a ratio. It's back to math. So say you have a 20 pound turkey, your 20-pound turkey divided by my 13-pound turkey, it gives you a number of 1.54. So my cook time was 4.5 hours. So you multiply 4.5 times 1.54. Therefore, your 20-pound turkey would be approximately 6.9 to 7 hours. Let's round it to 7 hours. 6.9 is 7 for turkey time. Um, so you can kind of gauge to what it is. And if you have a 30-pound turkey, you can divide 30 by 13 and it gives you some number. And then you multiply my 4.5 times whatever that number is. So that way you can gauge your turkey time. But the key is to use a temperature probe and base it on the probe, not time, because you don't want to overcook or undercook your turkey. So like I said, 165, and once I pulled it out too, just a note, I used another probe that I have and checked various spots within the turkey to make sure it was done. Because the last thing I want is somebody to get sick. So I make sure that that turkey is done. Plus, when you let it rest and the juices redistribute, it keeps cooking. So it's keep rising in temperature, especially if you cover it. So I didn't cover it, but some people do. So you can do whatever you want. All right, so that's my little tidbit of information. And I hope you liked it. And if you cook a turkey in the Bradley original smoker, I'd like to see and hear how you did. So thank you so much, and I appreciate it.